Thank you so much for finding time and joining us for the F&B Talks by the Restaurant Times. F&B Talks is a knowledge series through which we are bringing together people who seek a deeper understanding of the worlds of restaurant. Our aim is to build a free knowledge base on various aspects of running a restaurant business. Today we have with us a very special guest. His name is Sharad Batra, who's an established stalwart in the Indian F&B industry. Sharad is the co-founder and director of Cafe Delhiites, Nuove and Dhasu Cafe. After acquiring a degree in architecture, Mr. Batra went on to being one of the first few people to look into design-led customer experience in the restaurant space. In 2011, he embarked Cafe Delhiite's journey in Delhi NCR with his brother and partner, Mr. Vikrant Batra. In the last decade, they have managed to take the Cafe Delhiites across Delhi NCR, Mumbai, Pune, starting a legacy known by many. Delhiites recently completed 10 years, and on this occasion, Cafe also introduced Bakehouse Comfort, the brand's in-house bakery. We learn more about the newest ventures and other aspects of managing a cafe business from Sharad today. Thank you so much, Sharad, for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Let's get going. Sharad, we'd like to focus this session on getting as much insights from you as we can on your experience of managing the iconic Cafe Delhiites. Sharad, we'd like to start with the background story and also get a sense of how the consumer trend has changed over these years. We all know that Cafe Delhiites was one of the pioneers in the cafe culture and setting the cafe culture in Delhi. And over these last 10 years, you have seen the market evolve like how. What is your take on how the consumer trend has changed, specifically when it comes to cafes?
Humans are social animals, and they keep on evolving on a lot of different grounds. So as I go back in time, if I say how did we really come up with the whole idea? So we've been into food industry from last 30 odd years. It's our second generation food stint. So our parents actually started with banqueting and catering businesses, expanding into hotel. But me and my brother, when we came into our businesses, I was not too inclined toward food industry, being honest about that. But my brother was too passionate about food, and he was single-handedly managing the food thing. Once we started expanding towards the restaurant, there exactly where I came into the picture. I was doing my architecture. I completed it. In fact, I was doing a lot of my other projects. So it became like more of a challenge for me to create something for myself as a challenge for myself. So we really worked on this particular first cafe project. The Reiki went on up to like 6 months, and then we eventually came out with a product. We didn't know it will be successful or not, but one for sure thing was it satisfied us. That journey itself was very satisfying. Then the wait started, and thanks to all our consumers, customers, people, they loved us so much. They loved the product so much, and then we started expanding. We had never thought that we will be here where we are today. We are 25 in number in 5 different cities, in fact. So all thanks to our patrons, all thanks to our customers, consumers, they're liking.
Right.
And now in this journey of last 10 years, the things have been changing on yearly basis. I would not say monthly, that will be too short. I would still say yearly basis. Because whenever there is something which becomes successful, there are a lot of people who start following the same trend, and it becomes monotonous. So if we are not changing ourselves with time and coming out with new products, new things, new design, new ambience, new culture, I would call it culture itself, then you're out of the picture. The journey of a restaurant for the longest period of time is how to keep your customers engrossed, entertained, and much above food. Has to be more consistent, evolving. So I would not be really in a position to answer much about food because that is my brother's forte. But one thing for sure, he's too passionate that he keeps on evolving. Every few months we have new dishes added, new things done in the kitchen and their products. And as far as the designs are concerned, obviously we have a team of architects which we hire. But I try to put a great input into that what exactly we want. So one very unique thing, I don't know if you could notice in our restaurant, is that we have multiple style of seating.
Correct.
So the once you walk into a restaurant, so you would have choices varying from 4 to 5 different choices of the place and the variety of seating you would want to sit. So I wanted to personally break the monotony of going to a restaurant continuously and feeling the same thing. And the only change you would get is the different kind of people you're sitting with. So I wanted to change that atmosphere for people so they can choose from four, 5 different type of seating, and feel as if it's a new place and break the monotony.
Correct.
Uh, Maybe that helped. I don't know. It's very difficult to comment. But one thing that for surely helped us is that we literally cater to all 3 generations. When I say 3 generations, means people my age, my kids, maybe teenagers, and my parents. So if I had to dine out, in my personal experience prior to Cafe Delhi Heights, there were very few places. At the max, you could call 5-star coffee shops only, where we would go. We all three will order our own different kind of cuisines and enjoy them. I mean, I would be happy in a beer and a drink, but parents and children are different.
Right.
So that particular space, what we catered to, really, I think, gave us a great boost.
Totally.
And then when you say how we are evolving, yes, you can see from our first restaurant to our 25th restaurant, our DNA still remains the same, but our color combinations, our design factors, our layouts, they keep on evolving. See, if you really understand that the person who used to be 14-year-old 10 years back is 24. So his journey from 14 to 24 has to be journey for Cafe Daily Height also. At the same time, they want nostalgia because they used to come with their parents,
Right.
and now they want to come with their friends. So how do we fit in? So this is
Correct.
how we try and evolve in our design aspect also.
That's I think that's a really, really interesting thought, that actually you are growing the cafe for the generations. Like you're of course
Yes.
making sure that the customer who's coming today, 10 years from now, if he has to come, what kind of experience will he enjoy, or he would like to experience? Is something that you're already thinking about? In fact, I can really relate to the points that when you go to a Cafe Delia, the seating is so different. And I remember
Mm.
when I used to go with my friends at the DLF Cyber Hub branch, we are so confused. Okay, where do we sit? Should we sit at this spot? Should we sit at that spot? Because suddenly you start liking the third spot, and
Yes.
sometimes the waiters are like, okay, sir, you decide whichever you want, and if you want to sit there, once the table is free, you can always move there. And that's so
Right.
true. And I never realized that that was the thought process, that you wanted to make sure that the ambience is fresh, appealing, and it just new every time when you go there. That's something really interesting that you have shared with us. I'd like to understand, while you mentioned about the factors which are of course from the design side, you can throw some light on other factors which you think have, which you can attribute to the success of the chain over these years. I'm sure that the menu side and the food side is something that is taken care of by your brother and the partners. But what are the other factors apart from design that you could help us understand?
See, we have two kind of mind. One is subconscious mind and one is the conscious mind. So for me, simpler the things, more appealing they are. And then you can actually keep on visiting or using that spaces continuously for the longest period of time and on daily basis. Like for example, your own home, you have to go home every day. You can't get bored. You can't afford to get bored by your home. The day you get bored from your home, then you want renovation. So this is what the thing is, because your home will always be most simplest place, because there you have to spend maximum time. So this is what I try to do, is keep the things simple as possible, where you would even sit there and you might even think, I can create this kind of space at my home. It is so relative. So I try to keep things relative on your daily life. It's like this. So this is what is the only basis what I try and find things. Yes, of course, certain locations we might have to go a little higher, different notch, because that kind of crowd which comes and expect their different notch. So we evolve from the location to location.
Hmm.
Either we are a neighborhood cafe, or we are a destination cafe, or we have a mall cafe. So all 3 different locations will actually have a different kind of atmosphere.
Right, right. And we by the way, also congratulations on completing 1 decade, of Cafe Delhi. And we've got to know that now you're also looking at venturing into tier 2, tier 3 markets. So how is that strategy looking? Because I think Cafe Delhi as a concept is super hit in metropolitan cities. How do you see
Mm.
that picking up in the tier 2 as well as the tier 3 markets?
See, we've already opened in Chandigarh. It's been almost year and a half. We think a very good response there. I would still not say Chandigarh is a tier two. It's between tier one and tier two.
Absolutely.
We have restaurant under construction in Ludhiana. We have signed Lucknow. We have signed Hyderabad. Udaipur is on the card. So what I realize when I go to these cities, we see a lot of crowd, which is aspiring crowd who want to be going and exploring new things, new products. The next generation, which is already in there, have already most of them have studied abroad. They are very well averse and aware of the products what we serve. So, like for example, in the same space, I will say when we were in Delhi. So Delhi itself is a very diversified space, like South Delhi, West Delhi, North Delhi, East Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida. So all these places are so diverse in themselves that their customers are the people who are living in that kind of that society and those areas have very different inclination and choices. So how do I know that is because we have so many different products in our cafe. So which product is more heavy on which zone automatically comes out, that what kind of how people are inclined towards what kind of food. So I remember when we were already 5 year old, and we were continuously getting a lot of offers from West Delhi, though I was from West Delhi, but we never opened in West Delhi. The chain started from Gurgaon, expanded to South Delhi. So we kept on refusing the space in West Delhi earlier because we could see the people were still evolving, evolving so as to say the taste buds. There is no offense in that. I mean, I'm from West Delhi. I know my taste buds are more inclined towards more Indian food than. But when the next generation started coming in, like the children, they were more outgoing. They most of them were studying abroad or they were traveling for their own reasons. They were more well traveled also, and then they were more adaptive. Like for example, when sushi came into this country, I could not have it. I had to develop the taste for sushi. This is how we have experienced these things in within Delhi space also. So we are that's why trying to explore the similar space in different cities, and you will be amazed how different cities work.
Hmm.
In India, every city has a different bend. Not a one same product can work everywhere else unless a QSR.
Correct. No, absolutely.
Mm.
But I think you just pointed out about, different kind of
Mm.
cuisines, and we know that you're also venturing into different
Mm.
brands. Like Nuov is there, Hasu Cafe has come up.
Yes.
So could you throw some light on what are the new verticals that you're trying to establish? What are the specialities that you're trying to focus on?
So, as I started my conversation with, was that kitchen is not my forte.
Right,
So,
right.
all these new projects which are coming up are the brainchild and due to the passion of my brother.
Okay.
He's too passionate about food. That's
Hmm.
why this it keeps him attached to the whole food thing.
Right.
I'm more of a numbers guy. I'm a projects guy. I'm a finance guy. So I keep on always trying to pull him back
Hmm.
rather encouraging him more. I'll keep on pulling him back. So, so all these products was created as a passion by him. When I say about food, then once he is decided about going forward with these products, then I try and get the space designed by my team in relation to the food what he is trying to offer and what kind of product he wants to deliver. So this is how the whole work thing work. But it is ever going. Once in food, I mean, you can't stop. You
Right.
cannot stop. You never can stop at one. Any restaurateur, any food person in the world will never stop at one.
True.
So
True.
it's a basic human nature. And
Absolutely.
70% of the people have the dream of retiring and opening a small food place. You could be one of them.
Correct. Absolutely. That's so true. That's so true. Also help us understand. I think we are still battling with the second wave of COVID, and now Delta variant is something that we are keeping here. We are hearing about. I'm sure businesses would have taken a drastic hit in the last 1 year. So when it comes to managing the operation side, on from the business side, business point of view, how were you able to sail the business through this time? And now that you're of course expanding and the market looks very promising, what were the strategies that went behind in making sure that the business is afloat and you're able to come out of it during this time?
The times like these are never taught in schools or colleges or in any of your management degrees, anything. I mean, this is one in a billion cases which is happening. So you can't be prepared for these kind of events happening. In fact, when we had the first lockdown and the first wave which came out, obviously it was so new to everybody. So everybody was in their own way and manner was trying to overcome that. And the steps what we did take was the only thing what we had in mind was we still have to deliver the same product as we wanted to earlier, but in much more hygienic and sanitized condition, which will make customers more comfortable in dining out. See, honestly speaking, we were already in that space of hygiene. Why? Because if you have noticed, we have all open kitchens. So we are so hygiene conscious that we try and show our kitchens to all our customers consciously or subconsciously. When you sit in a restaurant, that trust level is created that you can see everything through the wall
Correct.
from one corner to another and other people working behind the counter. So we already were in that space of maintaining that hygiene. Yes, that social distancing and sanitizing it on periodic basis, trying to make them comfortable. This is what everybody's been doing, and this is what we are also trying to do to make our customers in a very comfortable space so that they can come and dine out easily.
Correct. Also, there's a lot of chatter that's happening in the market around the cloud kitchen business model.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any plans to explore that? And are you currently also doing some cloud kitchens for your brands or?
So, what exactly is a cloud kitchen? Cloud kitchen is a kitchen which is operating from different areas and delivering food. So, we anyways have those kitchens as our dining restaurants. So,
Hmm.
we can easily deliver from there, and we do deliver from there also. So, it's like a network. We already have that network. So, I would need a cloud kitchen where I don't want to open my restaurant, but I want to open my restaurant. I want to give people experience. So, cloud kitchens right now, not on cards.
Perfect. So now, could you help us break some trends that you see in the restaurant business coming up in the in 2021, 2022? Now that we have kind of completed a whole lot of years in the space and you have seen and built new brands. What are the trends that you foresee are going to change the market as we still live in the times of COVID?
The only major difference what I see is after these months of lockdown, people have really evolved. Evolved in a when I say evolved means some have become vegan, some have started trying new things, being at home. They were started cooking a lot. There's a different kind of things which has been happening in those lockdowns. We never anticipated I'm going to sit at home for 2 months and do nothing. So what you had to do was either watch Netflix or cooking or whatever the best possible way you could have passed your time. So the very good thing what has happened is people have explored themselves that what is the length they can go. They have redefined their life. I mean, for myself also, I have redefined certain things for myself as a person. So this self realization has come into picture for a lot of people. It might be short lived. I don't want to comment that, but this is going on right now. So as far as going on planning to make restaurants for the future, our present is our future. So we are evolving every day. I can't plan anything which is 2 years ahead of me right now because I'm still struggling or still trying to make products which is for today. So it is more important is the most important thing for me is how people are behaving today. If
Right.
this continues, we are continuing. If this is changing, so are we.
Hmm.
No,
Right.
2 years back, nobody anticipated this kind of lifestyle right now, which is happening.
Hmm.
So now I can't anticipate what is going to happen after 6 months or maybe 1 year or 2 years. So no major changes at all,
Hmm.
smaller changes so that we can accept it easily. So smaller steps for us.
Right, right. And today, I mean, still, even though the market has taken a huge hit, there are a lot of these budding entrepreneurs who want
Yeah.
to enter into the food business, even if it's through a cloud kitchen model, or they want to start something of their own and
Mhm.
start small. So, as one of the leaders in the space, what would be your advice to youngsters who are getting into the food business at this point of time? Any gold advice that you can share with them?
So I can only share my experience. So my experience says, don't come for money in this business. If you're passionate, do it.
Right.
Simple as that. Everything will
Love
fall in
that.
place. Food is the soul of every city. I'm not going to a micro level, but I'm still saying food is the soul of every city. So if you look closely, whenever you have to travel to any city of the world, the first question you ask is, where do I go and dine? So
Right.
that how important this industry is. So a city is defined by the food they are serving. A lot of other things also, but
Absolutely.
for a human behavior, when I have to spend 3 days in one city, I need to know where I'm going to eat. Well, this is what I need to do and
Correct.
create my experience. So it will be everywhere in India or everywhere outside India also. So food has to be on a very respectable note when people talk about restaurateurs.
Hmm.
It's
Right.
it's not an easy industry. You have to keep everybody happy. The problem what happens in our industry is that when people go to restaurants and they find there's some problem in a restaurant, they really start firing, which is actually not good. Why? Because everybody has bad days, good days, humans working, but how
Hmm.
much effort goes in running a restaurant or making a restaurant, it is unimaginable.
Okay.
And it is a continuous process. I mean, if you're ever thinking of getting into food, think twice.
Absolutely. No, that's why.
Not that
That's
I'm
why.
discouraging you, but like generally saying, it
Right.
is it is very glamorous from outside. Very
Totally.
glamorous. That is the only pulling factor for this industry. It is very glamorous,
That's right. That's right.
but
No, that's
the reality is
it's
completely
very
different.
different. No, no, that's correct. Correct. No, absolutely. And that's something that really clearly resonates from the story of Cafe Delights, as well as all the things that your brother has been doing stress along with you, which is I think
Right.
you rightly pointed out that the passion for food is something that has been able to build the brand
Yes.
where it is today. Great. I think this brings us towards the end of the session. We have been able to get some really interesting anecdotes, some life lessons from you so far in the conversation. So we likely like to go slightly lighthearted and get to know more about you, some really interesting, quirky things about you. So this is a rapid fire round,
Yes,
Sharath.
sir.
I'll throw some
Hmm.
questions to you, and whatever
Okay.
comes to your mind, you can just quickly respond. In I didn't take more than 3 seconds. Is what I.
Okay.
All right. So, what's your favorite cuisine?
Indian has to be.
Okay. What's your favorite dish from the Delhi Heights menu?
Mom's butter chicken.
All right. What you would be if you were not a restaurateur?
I wish I was a golfer.
Golfer. Wow.
Yeah.
And if you could eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The rest of my life, one thing, anything cooked by my mother.
All right. And I think my next question is basically related to sports. And you mentioned that, you would want to be a golfer. So who's your favorite sports person?
Has to be a golfer, but I have few of them because I really respect. I'm a sports person within myself. I love to play a lot of sports, so I have a huge respect for all the sport person and athletes. The amount of hard work they put. So by naming one, I will not be doing justice to rest of the all. But I would still say being a golfer, Tiger Woods is the
Yeah,
Virat Kohli of cricket, or you might say Michael Phelps of swimming, so,
correct.
or maybe Ronaldo of football. So like that.
Perfect. Awesome. Great. I think we had a wonderful conversation. I think it's been a pleasure talking to you, Sharat, and knowing about the story of Delhi Heights and how you have been able to grow the brand and where you are today, and also your future plans. It's been a wonderful conversation. Thanks a lot for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me once again. It's all pleasure was mine.